A chilling 6,000-year-old secret unearthed in ancient human remains with DNA so alien no one else on Earth shares it. Not only are we going to talk about it, we're going to remote view it. Could this rewrite history? Deep in Colombia's ancient soils, scientists have uncovered bones revealing a genetic enigma. DNA that doesn't match any known ancient modern population in South America, hinting at a lost chapter of human history. Roughly 6,000 years ago, hunter-gatherers trekked south and carved out a life on Colombia's Bogotá Altiplano, slowly weaving agriculture into their existence over 4,000 years, only to vanish into history's greatest mysteries. Who were these people? Their genetic trail ends abruptly, leaving no trace in the modern world. Researchers piecing together fragmented DNA from their ancient bones uncovered a baffling truth. These people share no clear ties to indigenous Colombians, instead hinting at a distant kin among the Chibchak-speaking communities in Panama's isthmus. Now, did their genes dissolve into local populations over millennia? Or is there something deeper? No one can say for certain, and the mystery just deepens. The riddle spirals deeper into the unknown. While most southern Native American lineages, like the Anzac One child of ancient Clovis people, or those tied to California's Channel Islands, trace back to early ancestors across the Americas, the Bogotá Altiplano's lost people defy all connections. Their faint genetic echoes whisper likes to Chibchan speakers in Panama. Yet the origins of the Proto-Chibchan tongue dissolve into shadowy void, possibly stretching back thousands of years in southern Central America. This is an incredibly interesting article to read, and I will leave a link in the description box below so you can go read it yourself. But it left a lot of gaps and a lot of questions. And we decided we're going to try to fill in those gaps with a remote view. Again, I encourage you to remote view with us. So as you listen to our story, just close your eyes and feel your body. Does it feel light or does it feel tight? That is your beginning journey into remote view. Now, it is a learned skill, but you start there. And you have the power to do it too. And how do you do that? Well, let's take a look at that first. Before we go any further, let's elevate your journey, personal and cosmic. Meet your must-have companion, the Energy Healing Map at mdhmap.com. Perfect for beginners and pros. It's your guide to clearing trapped emotional energies like ancestral or past life baggage, aligning your vibration with your goals. Imagine releasing old vibes to unlock new skills like remote viewing. With a clear energy field, you'll tap into the unseen. mdhmap.com helps you heal, grow, and explore your universe. Grab your energy healing map today, clear the past energies, and align your vibe, and see what's out there. Visit mdhmap.com now. Remote viewing isn't limited just to a special few. You have the ability to do it too. All you have to do is first clean up your own energies. If there's trapped emotional energies, trauma energies, past life energies, miasms, whatever that is, you have the power to either clear them yourself or reach out to somebody like me or also a QHHT practitioner, and we can help you clear those energies in other ways. Then the next step is to develop the skill, as I recommend Joseph McMoneagle. Now, he is remote viewer number 1 in the key part of Stargate project classified by the U.S. Army. Now, he explored the phenomena for intelligence and conducted thousands of remote viewing trials, claiming successes in locating the Soviet submarine and a kidnapped U.S. general. So he does have a book, and you can get that too. But as you do it, it will get easier. It's a little bit hard to do, but it's kind of like riding a bicycle. Once you figure it out, it becomes so easy to do. And the more you do it, the easier the energy comes in. Also know that you're not always going to get 100% accuracy, but you can be pretty good. And I don't believe even Joseph McMonagle said he was 100% accurate. But you might have a piece, I might have a piece, and somebody else might have a piece. And together we can figure out a whole big picture. And that's what I invite you to do in this video. Feel it out. And just, you don't have to be trained right now. The subconscious mind will pick up everything you need to know as long as you are in a relaxed state. The subconscious mind speaks to you in the first 8 seconds. After that, that's the conscious mind coming in. And Dolores Cannon always called that Mr. Stupid. But I don't like to beat up the conscious mind because it does have its purpose and it is there to help. So we can't always be in theta state. All right, let's get into our remote view. And with me is Christina, one of our remote viewers, and she is helping me trying to decide, where does 6,000 DNA come from? Does it have direct connections to known populations? And if not, what does that mean? Does that mean a complete genetic isolation or just unique markers? Now, one of the first questions that she asked me was DNA related to human origins, and I got no. So, Christina, tell me, what did you get?
I got no as well.
It's pretty interesting because we're like, okay, what does that mean? So, if there's no related human origins, how are they even on the planet if they're not here? And so I began to tease that out, and I got that they were part of the experiment of what do they call that? So there's like a creator race, I guess is what I want to say. And it feels like they had their hands in this, but they died out. So when you look at it, what did you get?
I kind of got the same idea. I agree that there was a creator race and that this hominid group was created by that creator race for whatever purpose.
Right. Does that mean mining gold? Does that mean and the other thing too, I think they were looking at the race was here for like 4,000 years. But it's interesting when I tuned into that, I didn't exactly get that. I don't know, did you have a chance to look at how long they were here?
And that was really hard for me to pinpoint as well. I kind of agree with that, around that 4,000 year mark as well.
Yeah, and it just feels like it just sort of, I don't know, it suddenly went away. It was a sudden impact or something happened. Um, we are actually going to try to tease this out. Let's see if we can figure out right now what happened to this group of people. I'm tuned in now. I feel there was a die-off, a sudden die-off.
I'm kind of getting the same feeling.
It's almost, when I tune into that, I get a feeling of, it's almost like I get sick. I feel sick. It's almost as if something that their bodies could not fight, it's almost like a mass extinction. That's how it feels to me. It's like there was something their bodies couldn't fight and they died off. And it feels like it's a sudden event, like something was introduced to them.
Well, this makes me think of Dolores Cannon right here, because she talks about in her dealings with hypnotizing thousands of people, that she came across that humanity had originally been kind of created, as being able to live forever and having all these great attributes, but like a meteorite or something got introduced that had some bacteria on it, and then kind of ran amok with the genetics.
Isn't that interesting? Because there is that impact crater down around this whole area.
Oh yeah.
So that's, oh, I have massive goosebumps, and I'm getting that sense of, that feeling you get when everything sort of aligns. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
goodness, that's right.
Yeah.
So that's, yeah. So it could be maybe not that particular impact, but one very
Right.
similar to it.
Right.
I had forgotten that she talked about that. That is interesting. It it feels to me it's an absolute sudden die off, like within a year. It's just like maybe it's like radioactivity or a bacteria that maybe contaminates the food supply. All I can feel right now is that my body feels extremely unwell. Like there's a because when you remote view this, you're trying to feel it in your body and
Yeah.
also try to see it in your mind's eye. And what is so overwhelming to me is that feeling of sickness.
Yeah. I kind of get that it's more on the bacterial side.
Is there anything else pop into mind about this that sort of hit you with it?
Well, I think have we talked about the idea of whether these are connected to us as humans. Have we mentioned that yet?
Yeah, I'm not feeling that they're not related to humans, although they're similar. So
Right.
it's like they're using kind of the same template,
Mm-hmm.
the creator race. Um, Now I have to say I've gotta lay this in before I get hammered on the creator race. I'm not saying that God didn't create us. I'm not saying that at all,
Right.
because I absolutely believe that God is the God source energy that is the creator of all things, including us. But what we're talking about more specifically is that there is a creator race that, like the Anunnaki. I mean, I think Zachariah Sitchin talks a lot about that. Billy Carson sort of revised what Zachariah Sitchin was talking about, and he talks about that in his Emerald Tablets of Thoth. It goes back, it's the ancient stories that actually predate the ancient Sumerians. And that's what Zachariah Sitchin was talking about, or the Sumerians. But the story is the same, that there was a creator race that came in. Now, as they're talking about it, they're talking about the creator race wanted people that were adapted to the environment of what the planet was like then to mine gold. That's their story, right?
Right.
And gold in that area, I would I would argue there was probably a lot of deposits there originally, so that would actually make sense. But I feel like in these creator races, they didn't know which race was going to be the best model. That's how it sort of comes in. It's like, well,
Yeah.
which car is the best model, right?
Right.
That's how it feels. Um, but I do feel, and I'm going to reflect a little bit and just ask the audience to do their own research. It seems to me that there was a story that Dolores Cannon talked about where there was an agreement between the physical beings of the planet to allow the spiritual beings to come in and be a part of their bodies. It was a co-creative experience. Now, the thing of it is, it's so far in my, how long ago? I mean, it's been years since I've been part of the Dolores Cannon class, and I don't know if it was there I heard it or if it was in a video I heard her talking about. So let's ask that question, Christina. if we can.
Mm-hmm.
Were Did the creator race create the physical form of the bodies that we inhabit as spirit beings? And I'm getting yes with that.
I am as well.
So even though these physical bodies wear out and die, the spirit form, the God created form, continues on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's almost like it's two separate things that came in to do a co-creative experience. How does that feel?
I would agree with that. Absolutely.
Because I'm sort of getting a shaking of the hands. And understand that the God source energy that created the spirits also created the spirit energy of the Anunnaki as well. It's an interesting dynamic. It's an interesting dynamic, how this is sort of come to the surface now of all times. Because now we have the science of DNA. And now you have these populations that you can examine and find out that, yes, they're humans, but they don't have any relationship to any other populations on Earth.
Yeah.
So, are they related? It's almost like yes and no. It's kind of like that duality answer. In some regards, yes, they are related because they're humanid.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have any descendants in any of the populations today. It's almost like the Neanderthal also went away. I mean, I think we have some populations, not all populations, but the Nordic populations actually have 2% of the Neanderthal DNA.
Yeah.
So it's instead of a tree, we're more like a bush. And I feels like some of these populations just completely die out. And it's almost like the creator race was experimenting.
Well, I mean, how else are they going to know what works and what doesn't?
True. So where does that?
It's not like they already have a recipe that they know that works.
That's true. That's true. So I wonder how or when the first spirits, that would be interesting. So with you being a QHHT practitioner, that would be an interesting thing to ask. Maybe you could ask somebody that. So when does the spirit start inhabiting the earth body?
That would be an interesting discussion.
Mm-hmm. Is that the Adam and Eve story? There's so many places we could go with this.
Yeah. I don't think it's the Adam and Eve story, though. Because I think all that stuff you got to take with a little bit of a grain of salt.
Right. You got to start the story someplace, right?
Right. Right. You got to start the story somewhere, and you've got to be mindful of there are lots of other stories out there besides
Absolutely. Yeah.
Adam and Eve. So
yeah, we can ascertain with our remote view is that the DNA it kind of is related to the human origins, but not in the same way. I guess we could leave it there. And it doesn't have direct connections to populations that are here today. So, and we do feel that it came in through the creator race, and they were experimenting, and there was a mass die-off. And it does feel like an impact with the bacteria. Now that you say that, that's really coming in strong. So yeah, I would have to agree with that 100%. So, all right, let's go squirrel a little bit because we actually ended the recording, but something else came up that we feel is pretty important. And go ahead, Christina, tell me what your thoughts are and let's talk about it. There's more to
Well,
the story.
yeah, I just think there's more to the story that we're not actually being told the whole story. It just when I read through that, you know, to get our initial questions to do this, I kept reading it and kept reading it, kept reading it, and it kept bugging me that I just feel like there's more that's there that we're not.
So, what is hitting you about that story? Do you feel that they are doing a soft disclosure to prepare us for something bigger?
Ooh, that's a really good idea. Yeah,
Because that's what's hitting me right now.
yeah, because if you go straight at it, everybody freaks out,
Mm-hmm.
and you might look like a lunatic.
Right. Yeah. So it is kind of like a soft disclosure, just a sort of it's just like everything else, or sort of it's just like everything else with disclosure, right? So
Mhm.
disclosure of aliens and UAPs or UFOs, whatever your acronym is.
Yeah,
It is there is so much more to the UFO UAP story. There is so much more to the Anunnaki and the ancient Sumerians and the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. It's almost like the ancients knew this, and there was going to come a time when this was all going to be disclosed. It's almost like we're preparing you, we're leaving you this information in ancient texts, and then we just sort of go, yeah, whatever, and we laugh at it. And then we begin to get the little dribs and drabs of science and just like the Tic Tac UFO, and then you get Stephen Greer and his disclosure, and it's us with advanced technology, but it's reversed alien technology, and just on and on. So it does begin to think that in Popular Mechanics, when they let or published that story on June 2nd, it does have an element of this is scratching the surface. There's more to this story. And now that we're talking about it, it makes sense that this is just the tip of the spear. Soft disclosure.
that sounds good. I like that. That feels right.
Mm-hmm. Christina and I are two QHHT practitioners and energy healers, and by doing these videos, we are hoping to inspire you to discover the superhuman in you. Thanks for watching.